What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Recently, I had a chance to interview Brother Omowale Africa out of Philadelphia on the King Gonda YouTube channel. And we had a pretty interesting conversation about Negro consciousness and the lack of black consciousness for brothers and sisters, such that they find themselves in situations where they forget who they are as a people. And so when you have racial amnesia, as a brother puts it, you will start helping your people develop, and you will even go and deal with the enemy in the case. In the cases, the enemy is not necessarily a person who's another color, but a person who shows characteristics of what oppressors do. I'm not hating on anybody for being a different race, right? But if you share in characteristics with what we can remember to be racism or what we think it is, then that's a problem, right? Now, I remember just 5 months ago, Brother Omowale Africa and George Macon was holding Just Pearly Things accountable because, Just Pearly Things had black women on her show, or black people on her show, and that's the video which was called Just Pearly Things. I think it was Just Pearly Things, Black Manosphere Crown Woman Kings Just Pearly Things, and that's the video that I reacted to, right? That's the video you guys are seeing that I'm over here, crowning her, the lady of the Manosphere. That was me responding to that video. What I'd like to do is play just a little bit of his video, and then I'm going to come back.
There's a new woman in the red pill space. For years I've had my battles and my debates with the manosphere, the black manosphere, and those red pill spaces. Over the years, with the emergence of Kevin Samuels, bringing the conversation to a greater audience, you're starting to see women pop up. And women now start to speak out. People like Crimson Cure and Danica Marie and many other women speak out on behalf of the red pill content and the manosphere. But now there's a new woman emerging. And the woman is not a black woman, but is a white woman. And this white woman, her name is Pearly. And now this woman is coming into the manosphere space, speaking on black relationships, and she's not black. But the manosphere has now allowed this woman to come and speak in these spaces. She has over 500,000 subscribers. She took she took things and she went over to London. And in London, you can see that she's sitting in spaces with predominantly black people. And they're talking about submission and all the things that the manosphere has talked about over the years. She's holding the conversation. But she is a woman that is not African American or black. And she's able to come into black spaces and monetize our issues. But the problem that I have with this is you would never see a black person, male or female, go into white spaces and exploit their issues for profit or gain. That's not something that you're going to see. But in the black spaces, it happens all the time.
Now I want to play a video 5 months ago from Brother Omowale Africa. And again, it's very similar. He even interviewed Aunt Jenny on the stream. Okay. I'm going to play what he had to say, and then we're going to come back.
What you can't do is say just because Just Pearly Things is not saying it, she's only giving a platform to people who desire the attention to express their dysfunction, that you're now giving her plausible deniability. Because no, she's profiting because there is a demand for derogatory entertainment, especially as it relates to black women. And you can ignore race if you choose to, but the algorithm doesn't. And Pearl knows that very well, which is why her title will say black women are undesirable, right? Because that's going to drive the clicks. That's going to drive the views. And she stated out of her own mouth She's around more city girls than anyone on this panel. Why? Because they're entertaining, and she produces an entertaining show that uses Black dysfunction as its content strategy. She's no different than Vlad TV. She's no different than Fresh and Fit. Anyone who was doing this, but if we're talking about having a conversation about what's happening in our community pertaining to Black mating and Black dating, we have a right to say that this person is allowed a voice and this person is not. Full stop.
Do you get paid? Do you get paid to? Do you at least get paid to be on her shows?
For me?
Yes. Do you at least
I get paid to go on her show? I'm like everybody else. I saw something that I didn't like on her show. I asked to go on, and I went on. Nobody makes anybody come on there. So what is she supposed to do? So whenever a Black person applies, and whenever a Black person says, I want to come onto your show, is she supposed to say no because I'm a white woman? You go and find a Black show. I'm not going to have Black people on my show. They call and they come up on her show. She doesn't say, oh, I only want Black people. She said white people. She said Spanish people on her show. Black people are the ones that comes on her to her show. They apply to come on. So what is she supposed to do? Turn around and say, oh, no, you can't come on to my show because you're Black and I'm white.
Yeah, this is the same thing that Leora Cole, this is his perspective. I got mouths to feed. And these nappy-headed hyenas are entertaining as fuck. And there's a whole lot of demand out there for Black female dysfunction. So if they want the platform, cool.
Now, listen at what Sarah Garvey said 5 months later. Okay? Let me play what Brother Sarah Garvey said, and then I'm going to come back.
Pearl has taken people on from Africa, which on the surface looks like a good thing. And I guess it is. Africans are being fed. They're taking money from her. They are feeding their family. Amazing. However, with a colonial mindset, this can be quite dangerous. And what happened during that interview with Nick Fuentes was that she used an age-old tactic that colonizers use, which was the divide and rule tactic. She pitted African Americans versus Africans when she spoke about how hard Africans work compared to how hard African Americans work. And she also used the term, my Africans. Much of what Pearl says is determined by her management, which she has said to me on many occasions that she shares with Candace Owens. So when you have a colonial mindset and you have a management who tell you what to say, what generally happens in my personal point of view and what I actually saw was that she began to start paying people pittance.
Now, I want to just say this. Me personally, as a larger YouTuber in the community we affectionately call Black YouTube, I saw certain elements of this and I mentioned it. But you know what? What you guys are were gonna tell me, right? And I'm over here in Africa. I'm not dealing with y'all. I don't live nowhere near y'all because some of you brothers I don't want to handle the deal with because y'all get on my nerves. I'm over here away from y'all. Okay. So if I would have came out and said something to the effect, yeah, she needs to be canceled, doing all that, a lot of you brothers would have came to her defense and would have unsubscribed from me talking about I'm hating. Because outside of that, I had very little proof. And I'm not gonna risk what I'm doing. Because number one, I'm not threatened by her. I got 100 million something views last year. Some of y'all like that, you jealous people. Hey, listen, bro. I'm doing better every year in this YouTube stuff. So I'm missing with that, okay? You guys are crazy and insane. So now we have evidence of what the lady did. We have evidence of her flagging Sarah Garvey. We have evidence of her talking about she's going to go ahead and get revenge. She's over on people's platforms, who actually are being disrespectful towards people. She's over there doing that. We see that. All right, we see that. Now you guys are out here saying that this is not what she's doing. But it's true. And you know what? You guys owe these guys an apology for predicting the outcome of what we see today. And even though I didn't want to come out, I saw what the guys were saying. I tried to stay neutral, but y'all was saying they was hating. And this is what y'all always say about pro-blacks. Pro-blacks is hating. They're all scammers. But no, I think what pro-blacks typically do is they love black people more than y'all love themselves. They may not always be the best business people or the greatest innovators in the business, but they know history. That's something that's different. Everybody in the pro-black community is not a Bill Gates kind of person. Some people are just educators, just like the Jews. They have their rabbis. Their rabbis might necessarily not be business people, but they have a business class to go ahead and uphold their religious people. So when you mess up, the business class forces you to go to training with the Jewish people. We missing that in the black community. We have educators, but we don't have a business class that enforces trainings and reprimand people for disrespecting the black community. We don't have that. And these guys are trying to do that, and a lot of you guys tried to say they were hating. Look at them now. Everybody owes them an apology because they had it right. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.